as well. In the standings in Group 1, with Leeds off this week, York grab a 2-point lead at the top on 12 points. Leeds have 10, St Helens have 8, but we'll see what comes out of that postponed game. Wigan have 4 and Huddersfield have 0. In Group 2, Warrington strengthened their top spot, still with a 100% record on 18 points, 9 from 9. Barrow have 16, Featherstone have 12, Bradford have 10, Lee Miners have 6. Cass are off the bottom on 2 points ahead of Wakefield on points difference, so huge win for Cass, not just getting the first win but getting themselves off the bottom of the table. Well done to their side after a tough year.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the championship scores?
Yep, so round 23 of the championship. Sheffield 26, Halifax 32, Batley 12, Barrow 30, Whitehaven 12, Widnes 26, Featherstone 72, Dewsbury 6, London Broncos 38, Workington 12, Newcastle 0, Lee 60, and York 16, Bradford 20.
Yeah, that last one was probably the most noteworthy, wasn't it?
Is that the one that had a scoreless second half?
Scoreless second half, and Bradford have been, frankly, shit for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So to go and win at a playoff side, I mean, I think they're not officially confirmed in the playoffs now because Widnes and Bradford can technically catch them with 4 rounds left if they have a huge points difference swing. But yeah, bit of an upset, I think, that one.
Yeah, away from home as well.
First time they won on Premier Sports as well, so they've got that one off their back, the Bradford Bulls.
I'm happy.
Yeah. In the standings, Leigh stay top on 44 points. Featherstone look nailed on for second on 39 points. Halifax have 34, Batley have 32, Barrow have 31, and York complete the playoff spots on 30 points. Widnes and Bradford are on 22 points, Sheffield have 20. London go up to 10th now. They're level on points with Newcastle, but a better points difference. Whitehaven have 11 points, Dewsbury in 13th on 5 points. Still have an outside chance to catch Whitehaven. They need a lot to go their way. They need to probably win all of their remaining games or win 3 of them by big margins. Workington, unfortunately, there is no way to stay up for them. Their relegation back to League One is confirmed with that loss away at the London Broncos. So commiserations to Workington and their fans. What about League One?
Yep, so in League One, it was round 19 and West Wales Raiders scored 6 to Swinton's 94. Rochdale 34, Cornwall 14, Keighley 60, Hunslet 18, the Midlands 18, Doncaster 52.
Yeah, we got some fan reviews on this one. I imagine these two must have seen each other at the game because there can't have been a super packed out crowd in Solihull. But Leighton Rhino said, "We braved the heat to watch our first Hurricanes game in Birmingham. Impressed with the efforts of both teams in 33 degrees on a track like concrete. At 18:28, a few of us got excited, but Doncaster's quality came good in the end, and the score got away from the Hurricanes. Jason Talley was my man of the match, cut through the Canes' defence on several occasions, and it took 3 to drag him down. Great expansion club, and I will bring the family back to Brum." And Barney at Battenhall Blue said, "Very hot day. Last thing you need are injuries in the first half. Midlands unfortunately suffered a couple of bad ones and it limited the interchanges. As the game wore on, Doncaster were able to slice through the Midland defence at will and run the score up at the death. Good hat-trick for Stanley Jean lookalike Watson Boas."
Yeah, the last score, Oldham 60, London Scholars 6.
So in the standings, Keighley, they can confirm their promotion with, what have I written there? Oh, a point next week. They sit on 34 with North Wales on 28 and Swinton on 26 points. Doncaster also have 26, Rochdale have 24 and Hunslet complete the playoff picture on 17. Oldham on 13 points can catch Hunslet for the final playoff spot, and the sides will play each other in round 22 to finish the season. What's interesting there as well is they both play Swinton, but I think Hunslet's other game is against one of the top 4. It might be Doncaster, whereas Oldham's other game is against either the Scholars or Cornwall, one of the bottom 4 anyway. So there's still a chance of a turnaround there. Scholars have 10, Hurricanes have 8, Cornwall and West Wales both have 2 points. In the news in League One, Rochdale Hornets captain Sean Penkovic has announced his immediate retirement from the sport. Penkovic, who's 40, enjoyed more than 400 appearances in a career spanning across 2 decades. So congratulations to him on his career now that he's called time on it. And it's good that we've got you on because we've got a former Hull KR player to talk about as well who's also announced his retirement. So Keighley halfback Scott Morrell has announced that he will retire at the end of the 2022 League One campaign. Morrell has enjoyed a career spanning 2 decades, featuring for Leeds, London Broncos, Hull KR, Halifax, and the Cougars. I didn't remember he played at London Broncos, but mainly people think of him as a Hull KR player, don't they? And you'll have a lot of memories, I'm sure, of Scott Morrell.
Oh yeah, he was part of the promotion side in, I think it was 2006. Then he sort of ran our team for a couple of years along with James Webster. Yeah, some very, very fond memories of him. Him and beating up Craig Fitzgibbon a few times. That was fun. He was at KR on Friday night, and he said, the reason he's retiring, he said he's put on a few pounds. And his knees can't keep his rig up anymore.
He's always been a chunky monkey.
Yeah, since about 2010.
Yeah. But yeah, good luck to him in his retirement. Like you say, I think he will be most well remembered for being part of that promotion side for Hull KR, being part of that of establishing them as a Super League side as well in his time there. So good luck to him in retirement. I hope his knees aren't too fucked. And sort of League One adjacent, I guess, but seems to fit best in the rundown here, is Wales will take on Lebanon in a World Cup warm-up match at Haywood Road, home of the Swinton Lions, League One Swinton Lions. The game will take place on Saturday, October the 8th at 3 p.m, a week before the start of the World Cup. So that'll be a good test for both the sides. I wonder if it'll be a proper international or if it'll be play 20 players each, but we'll see. I'm sure Neil will be on top of that.
Yeah. Well, I don't imagine it'll be one I attend, but
No, but do you know, it's a cracking little ground, to be fair, even though it's effectively a rugby union team's ground. It's a cracking ground, Haywood Road. I've enjoyed my visits there over the years, so I'm not going to rule myself out of it at this stage.
Depends what you're doing.
Yeah. NRL round 22. Do you want to take us through the scores? Because I didn't watch any of it.
No, me neither, so it'll be a short section. So it was the Panthers 0, the Storm 16, the Warriors 42, the Bulldogs 18, the Eels 0, the Rabbitohs 26, Roosters 32, Cowboys 18, West Wales 12, the Sharks 36, Broncos 28, Newcastle Knights 10, Raiders 24, Dragons 22, and the Titans 44, the Seagulls 24.
So all that means the Panthers, despite defeat, stay top on 38 points. They're a win away from being crowned minor premiers. Cowboys and Sharks both have 32 points. Storm complete the top 4 on 30 points. Rabbitohs, Broncos and Eels have 28 points. Roosters complete the top 8 on 26 points, with the Raiders the only real threat now of making the finals on 24 points in 9th. The Sea Eagles and the Dragons on 20 points. They have vastly inferior points difference, so they have the most outside of outside chances to make the top 8 if they win all 3 remaining games with big point scores. It's not going to happen, basically. The rest are done for 2022, so why even bother talking about them? That is the results rounded up from the last week in Rugby League. We're now going to move on to make our guesses for next week in Rugby League. Predictions time for round 24 in Super League. It starts on Thursday night, 8 p.m. on Sky, a game where we have a bit of a clue, Tom, because the squads have been announced. Huddersfield versus Castleford. So Cass are able to bring back Jake Mamo and Chase Blair after going through concussion protocols for that pair. And Jordan Turner, he's been out since April. He's back in the squad. A 21-man squad that Castleford have been able to name. So that's good news for them. Whereas Ian Watson has brought back Ricky Latelli into the squad. He replaces Josh Jones, who missed last week's game through an injury picked up just before the match, a groin injury, and Nathan Mason comes in for suspended Jack Ashworth. That's someone who's just marginally less likely to get a ban themselves. So they're the squads. I think this could be entertaining, couldn't it? I think
on paper it looks like one of the ties of the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's two sides. Huddersfield win, and that's them in the playoffs. Castleford win, and I think they'd be very confident about it being them in the playoffs with only 3 games left after this. As the guest host, I'm going to let you have first dibs. What do you think will happen, and how do you think it'll go?
I'm going for, as some of the reviewers have pointed out, Huddersfield have only lost once at home this year. So I'm going Huddersfield by 10. I think they'll come back after last week's disappointment. Yeah,
I think that, that home stat that the Huddersfield fans brought up kind of re-emphasised my feelings on that. I'd expect them to beat Castleford at home. If it was the other way around, I'd probably be thinking Castle would be favourites the way things have been going of late. But this way around, I'm going Huddersfield. So I'm going Huddersfield by 6. Sky have picked another potential corker on Friday night, 8 p.m. Hull FC versus Wakefield. It kind of doesn't feel the same as it would have felt a week ago, this game, does it?
No. You'd be expecting Wakefield to have a lot more to play for than they do. Well, they still have to keep going, don't they? But
they have to finish the job, and winning this game would almost certainly finish the job for good, for staying up. But also, Hull FC feel a bit detached from the playoff race, and with that big loss last week, pushing them down to 9th now as well. It kind of feels like it's not got the oomph that it could have had.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, you're going to be missing Sky's favourite Jake Connor as well, aren't they?
I'm sure they'll cut to him in the crowd a lot. If
Absolutely.
not, get him in if they won't get him in the studio because he's not much of a talker, is he? But
yeah.
I don't know if that'll help or hinder them. I mean, they're going to be without Jack Walker too, it seems like. He's injured. Maybe Darnell McIntosh as well. Where do they look next at fullback? Connor Wynn, maybe at fullback?
So, yeah. I think he came up as a fullback, so I'd suspect it'll be him.
Yeah, and then it leaves them thin in the outside back, so they'll be playing some of those kids. That Barron kid who scored against Catalans, I guess will get a game on the wing. After seeing the result from Hull FC last week and thinking about how patched up their side might be this week, and seeing Wakefield last week and the way they applied themselves, because they were really good. The error stats made me really confused, because I can only remember them making about 3 mistakes, and they were all late on in the second half, it felt like. So there must have been ones where it's a contested ball or something, but where it's not really a mistake, it's just happens.
What happens?
Yeah, I'd be going Wakefield on that basis, but then again, I don't know how much they might think the job's done already and relax into this game. It's a bit strange. It's really hard to pick. I'm gonna go Wakefield by 2, which means I don't know.
I'm going Wakefield by a few more. I'm putting by 12. I think the LFC had 2 patched up. They're only attacking right now is Luke Gale, who's had a very miserable season, miserable time at LFC in general.
Yeah, he's had about 3 outstanding games and about 10 wank games.
And the rest he's been banned for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wakefield by 12. I think they're a bit more in form and they've got a bit more attacking threat than Hull have.
Yep, next up, Friday, 8 p.m. A lot of Friday night games this weekend as the teams try to give themselves as much time to prepare before the double round games next week, where there's games, a lot of them are playing on the Thursday and then the Sunday or the Monday. So Leeds versus Warrington is the next one. This is an interesting. Leeds are going really well, and at home, I'm sure they'll be right up for it. Warrington can probably relax for the first time for a long time. Daryl Powell talked about how much of a relief it was after that game last week. That might help them. That might suit them, because they clearly have been diabolical when they've been sort of under pressure this year. So I don't know if that might be the kick, the little boost that they need, but Leeds are playing too well, even with whatever sides they're putting together. We know Harry Newman won't be playing this week, and we know